All right, well, let's see who's going to stop by and talk to us. Yes, I saw your little note there. I broadcasted it to see who wanted to respond to it. And I did get a response. Now, keep in mind, when they give names, it could be that person, but it could just be somebody claiming to be that person. So keep that in mind. Don't feel anybody coming in, but I do hear some words, and so we will begin with that. And I'm hearing from Mr. Swedenborg. And the question was, what motivated or what motivates us to come here and speak with you? Well, now, Mr. Swedenborg is not here, but I am back. I am back. And the reason why I am back is that where do you find anything worth celebrating? Where do you go to be with anyone? You go where they're at. And that's why I'm here, because you are here. You're not there. Of course, what is that joke that I hear so much? Everybody's here because we're all not over there. I don't know. But we come where the people are at. We come where the questions are at. Why do we come? Why not? Why not? A bit impudent, that one. We come here because does the Lord have children out here in the world and not reach down, not reach out to assist them? Would the Lord do that? No. The Lord shows his children how to be. And the only way that the Lord can show the children how to be is to be amongst them. That is why we come. That is what motivates us. Not everybody wants to be among strangers. Not everybody wants to be among you, but we do. And why? Because you are listening to us. And because you are listening to us, we choose to come amongst you. Whether we whisper into your ear and the medium speaks, or whether we're able to slip inside the medium and speak for ourselves, we do this because we desire you to be more than what you are today. And there's only one way that can happen, and that is for someone to teach you. Am I correct? Yes. We come to class to learn. fortunately, not everyone in this country prefers to be out in the gathering houses, the saloons, the places of drink. It was the worst invention that anybody could come up with. Although I should not say that, because it has its uses, and people are weak. And we are here to help you be strong, because the Lord wants all of you to be strong in all that you do. The Lord teaches love. And for us to understand love, we need others to come and speak to us about it, to speak to you about it. I think I said something the last time I was here when Mr. Falcone allowed me in about his interpretation of love, which is to nurture. And to nurture, is that not what the Lord does? Is nurture all of us, each of us, nurture us, encourage us to be more, to be better, to be more than what we dream that we can be. Is that not good? Think about it. Some of us come here because you are here. Some of us come here because this one has called upon us. We are teachers, and teachers answer the call to teach. When the student is ready, the teacher shows up. Therefore, when this student is ready, we show up to teach. This student is here to teach you. And through him, we teach. As you are learning, all of us have different reasons, different motivations, as you put it, to be here. What matters is that you are here to listen. That is the important thing. To listen and to ask questions when you do not understand something. This one continuously seeks what he calls secret knowledge. He calls it secret knowledge because you cannot find it in the books. Some things you just cannot write. And it's not that you cannot write, it is because you cannot find the proper words to convey what is being taught. Now, we gave this one a very perplexing teaching. And I will share this teaching with you, but we will not explore it. I want to give you an example of what this one considers secret knowledge. Stand this. God does not dwell within you. God dwells in those around you. And you are the reflection of God. This will not make any sense to you. In fact, this one is still pondering the teaching. So careful what you wish for, because you will get it. A proper student and teacher relationship is when the student brings questions. We are not going to go into that. This is how it was when I was here. The master or the teacher, the master's time was valuable. And what was considered valuable was because the master was always in meditation, always allowing all of this to flow through. And if a student would arrive with no questions, they were being impertinent. How can you teach one if you do not know what it is that they seek? It is like teaching you how to write when you're already writing. But that was the relationship when I was here. And I understand that this relationship is no longer, or I should say, is not the favorite relationship. So we come and we just teach. Well, you're just getting a parade today, aren't you?
Yes, you are number 4.
No, I'm number 1.
Oh, you're back, okay.
Not everybody has questions. And the reason why not everybody has questions, because we don't know what to ask. I never knew what to ask. I would sit in seance after seance after seance. And just as I was getting ready to ask the question, they would go on. So I'm stuck with my question. But I did learn that in conversation, and not in the bars or anything like that, I had stopped frequenting those places long beforehand. Well, I shouldn't say long beforehand, that's kind of stretching. You can always tell someone who frequents those places because they always stretch everything. And only this much of it is actually true. What can I say? Some habits are just hard to let go of. But, after my brother helped me up and introduced me to this strange practice, I would sit and I would listen. And not everything they said made sense. Sometimes people were asking questions about who was going to win the election or how to make more money. Stupid stuff. And the spirits that were teaching, they would just shrug them off. They didn't like those things. When Mr. Franklin got all of this organized and everything, and Mr. Franklin had a very dry sense of humor. He didn't put up with any of that. He was always right there. It's got to be straight. It's got to be straight. And then I discovered he was a Mason. That explained a lot. So back to this here. It's not that you have to have questions. We come here to share our thoughts. And sometimes, if your thinking is clear enough, we pick up on those thoughts. And then we can expound on those thoughts. Mr. Lincoln, before he became president, he would sit and someone's seances, oh Lord, what was that guy's name? You don't remember. It was in New York. It was in New York. And he would come and sit, and he would have his pencil, just like this one, and you have his pencil and paper, and you'd always see him writing and everything. But you never heard him ask a question. So, when you come to these things, when you come to these meetings, I can't wait for the rest of you to get back here, but when you come to these meetings, you don't necessarily have to voice it, just focus on it. Focus on it. We might hear you, especially if this one it doesn't have so many cluttered thoughts. He's always got cluttered thoughts. He's always worried. No, worried that he's going to say the wrong thing, worried that he's gonna. He's never sure about any of this stuff. That's what makes it so fun with him. He's never sure until he watches the video. Well, anyway, let's get on with this. Are there any questions? All this chatter?
I have one.
Wait a second, don't go away yet.
We're not done.
Oh, okay. Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Connie.
Well, after all I've been through, is there a reason I'm still here?
Does there have to be a reason?
I would think so. I mean, I've kind of been through the ringer.
Oh, well, if you've been through the ringer, then you should be dry. Now all we have to do is press you into shape, don't we?
Well, if it was that easy,
What was that?
I said if it was that easy, I'd be all for it.
Well, my dear, do you know why it is not that easy for you?
No, I don't.
You're always holding on to things. Always holding on to things. You don't let anything go. You know, I talked to your mother the other day, and she said that damn girl is so hung up on stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do with her. She thinks she's letting things go, but she's always right back there, picking it all back up. Are you still picking it all back up? Do I have the right one?
Well,
Does that-
probably. That sounds like my mother, yes.
Yeah. So, my dear, what is it? Well, let me ask you this. Why have you not chosen to leave?
Uh, I guess, well, the kids, I suppose.
Yeah, everything's guesswork.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this. When you figure out what it is that you want, then you might have a clear path towards it. But in order to get from point A to point B and then to point C, okay, you're going to have to get yourself a new map. Does that make sense for
makes
you?
Yes, it does.
Good. Good.
Thank you.
So figure out where you want to go.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. You like this. This is nice.
I have something.
Yes.
From what little bit I've read, about early spiritualism, when, the era when it was so popular. Dickens and Sir Conan Doyle, that era. I've read about this, what is it, the manifestations, like ectoplasm.
Mhm.
And I think that has to be fake. And so many did fake back then, but were these manifestations, were at least some of them true or real or actually occur without fakery or chicanery? Chicanery, thank you.
Well, here's something to keep in mind. All of you listen up. Before you can fake something, you have to know what the real thing is. So, if they were faking the ectoplasm, and they weren't faking the ectoplasm, they were faking a lot of other stuff, but not the ectoplasm. Because the ectoplasm, see, that's a part of you. It's a part of everything that is alive. It's a it's a substance. And you don't see it very much now because it takes a lot of work. And for the ectoplasm to actually move out of the person, out of the medium, from the medium, because, the medium draws from each of you into them. And then it exudes from the medium. But they don't tell you the cost that the medium experiences doing those things. And a lot of that was just for fame and fortune. A lot of what continues today. Here we go through we go through all of this. Mr. Franklin goes through all of this to break through, to train us, to train the people on the other side, to get us working together. And what does everybody do? They don't care about how to live a better life. All they want is a better life. So here's a question for you. If mediumship is the demonstration of spiritualism, and spiritualism is a religion, what about those who earn a living being mediums? Are they spiritualists?
Some may be, I don't think all are.
Well, charge, I'm going to, just a moment here, just a moment. See, we talked to him. And he knows things that I don't. Of course, I know things that he doesn't. So we kind of get together and converse. And according to his conversion, the early church, well, this was long before, I never went to church. I never saw a sense in it. They were always condemning you for this, condemning you for that. And so I spent my time in the bar room. And this one here says that the early church fathers, when they were separating themselves from the heretics, there we go. The ones that were prophesying for money were false prophets. That's the way they. However, is that true? No, it's not true. They just had good sense to collect money for it, enrich themselves. Did they enrich themselves at anybody else's expense? No. Most people were going to spend their money on something anyway. Might as well be that, right? Okay, so what else?
Well, he brought up the secret knowledge and expounded upon that a little bit about that there aren't words in the language to actually describe the secret knowledge. And he said you can't find the words. And then just as an example, you are the reflection of God. But that was really interesting. If you had any other expounding upon that a little bit more.
Oh, well, you're looking for secret knowledge. You're talking to the wrong one. I have
Well-
problems, with no knowledge.
Well, it was just an interesting, I thought it was interesting that it was brought up. I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yes, well, you know, each of us has our reason for doing things. And you know, I'm going to let this one explain it to you. So when we're done, just you ask him about that, okay?
Sure.
Because he can explain it much better than I could, because you know, I secret knowledge, I'm not even worried about that. I have problems with the stuff right in front of me. That's why I come to these things, so I can learn. And occasionally, you know, I get in here and you all like me, so I figured I would hop in again. So, but yes, the early spiritualists, oh boy, they could get the house rolling. But you have just a handful of the wrong people and everything is flat. Can you imagine that? Everything's flat. A lot of people avoided them because, well, you know, you've got the devil's work and everything, but mostly the devil didn't have much to do with it. It was just so different. So different. And the educated people, they enjoyed this. Do you know why they enjoyed this? Because they were educated. Made sense to them. You get somebody like me. What the heck is that? What do you mean talking to the dead? And then you get somebody kind of uppity like me says, what do you mean dead? We're not dead. So yeah, you've got you different, you know, but when spiritualism developed, and I was at the tail end of that, when they developed, it was all the intelligent people that were having these seances and everything, because they're the only ones who could come up with the idea. They're the ones who had all the questions. They're the ones that wanted to know what it's like on the spirit side of life. They're the ones that wanted to know, how does this work? They're the ones, you know, they're the ones that wanted to know. People like me, we didn't care.
That makes so much sense. Because it's still that way.
It was only after my brother helped me out and introduced me to the spiritualist church. And then when my father came through, expounded upon his mistakes, because, you know, followed in his steps. Well, then I started to listen a little more, and I started to pay a little more attention. And, you know, by the time I made my passage, I knew a little bit. Not much. I know a little bit more now. I know how to come in. I know how to see all of your beautiful faces. And the idea with this is to, sometimes it's just to demonstrate. Sometimes it's just to connect. Not everybody understands the intellectuals. So you need somebody like me to come in and kind of smooth things over, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're the warm-up band.
What's that mean?
Oh, they didn't have bands back then. That would be the band is not well known. Coming on stage first and doing numbers just to get the audience warmed up and prepared for the real star who would follow and perform afterwards.
Oh, I see. So you're saying I'm a nobody.
No, you said that.
I said that. You just said I was the warm-up. The nobody. Did I get that wrong?
I didn't say nobody.
But a lot of them become somebody after they do the
That's
work.
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The up and coming.
Thank you. No wonder they're twins. They're very nice.
Do you know Lord Carlin very well?
Oh.
You should.
Oh. He was a very funny man,
Oh, well,
very practical though,
good.
very funny.
Sometimes that's what you people need.
Exactly.
Because these intellectual types, you know, they're all up here and everything. Not everybody's up there. Well, this one is. I can lose this one in conversation just like that. Because he's thinking all up here. And he's saying that I'm starting to take up a little bit of time here. So, last call, is that how it is?
Yes.
Last call questions? Okay, well then. I will see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank you.
Did George Carlin pass?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
he's gone. He's been gone quite a while. I've been,
Stuff. Wherever you go, you take a little bit of stuff, and you take your stuff and you make it your place. Because you've got your stuff. And then you go someplace else and you leave your, oops, sorry.
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't know, maybe because that's exactly. I just saw him recently on a video online. Really, past week, yeah.